Can you beat Pokemon Red with only Gen 5 Pokemon? Okay, I guess I should explain the context behind this challenge. Today's challenge comes from a ROM hack known as Unovoa Red. It's a ROM hack of Pokemon Red that replaces all of the Gen 1 Pokemon with their Gen 5 counterparts. What's cool about this hack though is that it keeps all the mechanics from the original games. Aside from the changes to the Pokemon, the only other major change is that Ghost moves are now all special, and Dark moves are all physical. I've also decided to make this a gift-only Pokemon run. If you guys want to check this hack out for yourselves, I've left a link in the description as always. Before we get started, let's explain the rules. I can only use gift Pokemon in battle, but I am allowed to catch HM users when needed. I'm also going to be playing this in the game's hard mode. This boosts the level of boss Pokemon slightly, and also prevents you from using items in battle, and it forces you to play in set mode. If you enjoy this video, be sure to like, subscribe and click the bronze on for when I release new videos. Now with all of that out of the way, let's go! So starting the game I picked Oshawott as my starter, since I wanted an early game advantage against Brock. We actually almost lost the opening rival battle, as he has a speed advantage against us, but on the turn where he could have finished me off, he just went for Leah, basically throwing the fight. Well done, idiot. I actually lost my first attempt against Brock. His Archon just hit too hard and managed to get a couple of sneaky critical hits in. We won second time round though, and even leveled up after knocking out his first Pokemon, which gave me the power boost I needed to win. While heading through Mount Moon, I took the Plume Fossil. This can be revived into Archon, which in turn will evolve into Archeops. That'll be a really strong addition to the team. In Cerulean City, I went straight after Misty, and she actually ended up being much easier than Brock. We've evolved into Duo at this point, and picked up the Mega Punch TM from Mount Moon, so a couple of superpowered fists to the face was all we needed to bring down her team. The rival is next, but he was all washed up by the time I finished with him. I have Waterfall at this point, which is really powerful for this point in the game. Thanks to that, I mopped up 3 of his Pokemon, and Mega Punch did all I needed it to against his Snivy. He could have made things bad for us with Rab, but thankfully it missed. We went straight to the SSN next, but the fight here went down pretty much the same way. He didn't go for Rab this time, but instead just wasted time with Leech Seed. Do you not have Vine Whip yet? At this point, I decided to see if I could get another fossil from the back of the Pewter City Museum, but instead you get the Reveal Glass, which summons one of the legendary genies, so I can't use that. Oh yeah, I also found out that the Eevee you can get in Celadon City has been replaced with a Wild Cobalion, so I can't use that either. Anyway, Lieutenant Surge is next, and I thought that this would be a simple dig spam, since it's super effective and has 100 base power in Gen 1. However, one of his Pokemon is part bug, so only takes neutral damage, and his Emolga is immune to ground moves. Thankfully though, we're just too strong for him at this point, and just overpowered him with Waterfall. After the battle, I met this police officer who gives us a Tepig. Nice! Excellent time to get a fire Pokemon. I wonder if we'll be able to get all the starters. I made sure to evolve Tepig into Pignite before challenging Erica. We beat Leavanny with a couple of Embers, but she got a crit in before she went down, and left us in bad shape by the time Simisage came out. We did a fair bit of damage before going down, and by this point, Duot has evolved into Samurott, who just finished it off with a Seismic Toss. Lilligant came out last and tried to put me to sleep, but thankfully her sleep powder failed. We took it down with a few more tosses. Giovanni is up next in the Rocket Hideout, but you know how this goes. 2 of his Pokemon are weak to Waterfall, and his Buffalan only took 2 hits to take down, leaving the Rocket Boss all washed up. After that, I decided to beat down the Karate Master, and he let us have a Pokemon as a gift. I went with Sork over Throw, since it has a higher attack stat. The rival in Pokemon Tower is up next, but Pignite ended up being able to handle this one all by himself. He had super effective moves for most of the rival's Pokemon, and the only one that he didn't, he was just able to overpower with Body Slam. Nice to see that this guy is pulling his weight. I thought that Koga was going to be a simple dig spam, but it actually turns out that 3 of his Pokemon are either part bug or part grass, which means they take neutral damage from ground moves. This didn't matter in the end, as Samurott now has both Surf and Ice Beam at this point. It was simply a case of overpowering his team. His Garbodor did manage to hit us with Toxic, but it wasn't able to take effect quick enough before we took him down. With that out of the way, I went to Cinnabar and had my Fossil revived into an Archon. I was really pleased to see that it revives at level 30 in this game. That'll make leveling it up a lot easier. I made sure to evolve Archon into Archeops before taking on Blaine. Care to guess how this battle went? What's that? We demolished him? Correct. Despite his level lead on us, we still managed to outspeed him, and thanks to our incredible base 140 attack stat, we crushed him with a combo of Rock Slide and Earthquake. In typical Gen 1 fashion, the dumbass even tried to use a super potion when his last Pokemon was at full health. Blaine, you should be fired. J Rose's rival Fivel is next, and Archeops ended up completely mopping the floor with him. Seriously, we've only had this guy for about 10 minutes, and he's already destroying the competition. After that, we get the gift Pokemon from the Sylph employee, and it turns out to be a Snivy. Nice! Now we've got all the starting types. I've got a feeling that this will be our final team member, and if it is, then I'm really happy with how this team has turned out. Speaking of Archeops sweeps, he also crushed Giovanni as before. It didn't help his case that the Rocket Boss tried to use a ground type move on a flying Pokemon. Go back to trainer school, Giovanni. Time for Sabrina, the Psychic Gym Leader. I wonder how this will go. We've got a Pokemon with a hard-hitting super effective move. Yep, not much to say here other than we chomped our way through her team like it was nothing. Giovanni's ground gym was harder than it should have been. Samurott easily took care of his first Pokemon, but his Stunfisk hit us way harder than I was expecting, and even paralysed us with Thunderbolt. We were able to take it out, and he even managed to do the same on his third Pokemon since he acted like an idiot and just used a guard spec. He even did the same thing when he sent out his Seismitoad. He did eventually take Samurott out, and Servine wasn't a high enough level to even get a hit in. Emboar, however, was able to take him out with a few body slams, even though he could have beaten us easily if he'd used the second Hydro Pump. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. His last Pokemon would have taken Emboar out, but he went for Dig, so I switched into Archeops to avoid the hit, and finished him off with a few Earthquakes. Not gonna lie, that was pretty close. Needless to say, I was a bit worried about going into the rival fight. Archeops was able to handle his first 4 Pokemon without much issue, but considering how high of a level his team is, we are definitely going to have to grind before facing the league. This became most apparent when I saw that his starter was level 59 and Emboar was only level 42. He had a 17 level lead on me. I did beat him first try, but it's painfully obvious that we're not ready for the league yet. While heading through Victory Road, I came across a Cova fossil. Looks like I'm going to get a Tortuga. Nice, we're going to get a full team. I decided to get everyone up into the early to mid-level 50s. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how this team has turned out, and I'm excited to take on the league. Let's go! Ice Trainer Lorelei is up first. Naturally, I lead off with Emboar, who was able to deal with the first 2 Pokemon pretty easily. She then sent out Alomomola, so I switched into Superior and set up a few growths before taking it down with a couple of Giga Drains. I was able to do the same against Beartic and switch back to Emboar for Vanillux. But in Gen 1, the enemy AI picks their move as they do it, and not at the start of the turn like you do. Because of that, I switched into a critical Psychic. Yeah, Emboar fainted. Thankfully though, Caracosta was able to finish it off. Fighting Trainer Bruno is second, so I led with Archeops. Fly hits all of his Pokemon incredibly hard, but most of his team are able to survive with a sliver of health. Because of that and the fact that Archeops is quite fragile, he fainted on Bruno's final Pokemon. Fortunately, Samurott was able to come in and clean up with 1 extra attack, so the fight wasn't too bad. Ghost Trainer Agatha is third, and just like in the base game, she has the capacity to be both really mean and really annoying. Archeops dealt with her first Pokemon easily, but got paralysed off a glare from the second. Because of that, he couldn't beat her Jellicent. Twice, when he would have taken her out, he missed his turn. Then we got confused as well. Eventually, Superior was able to come in and take a few of them out, and Samurott dealt with her Chandelure, but not before almost going down to a few Shadow Balls on Poison. That was rough. Dragon Trainer Lance is next, and this battle really was horrible. I actually beat him twice, but I was so beat up the first time and didn't have enough healing items that I decided to redo the fight. I also realised my mistake of putting Blizzard on Samurott instead of letting him keep Ice Beam and putting Blizzard on Caracosta. Also, because I'm a bit underleveled, Blizzard can't quite knock out most of his Pokemon. Due to this, I lost Samurott partway through the fight, and even Archeops went down too. Eventually, it came down to Emboar finishing off his Hydreigon while he was recharging from a Hyper Beam. It was also after this battle that I realised I'd forgotten to properly stock up on healing items. Henceforth, we will be going into the champion battle not quite at full health. Oops. For the champion, I decided to leave with 1 Pokemon and just keep them in until they faint. Archeops took out Unpheasant easily enough and brought Klinklang down to low health before fainting. Ember was able to finish it off and ended up the same way against Darmanitan, whom was finished off by Caracosta, who was then destroyed by the champion's own Caracosta since it had Giga Drain. Okay, that was weird. Superior was able to handle it fine, but what really surprised me was my rival's own Superior. He is 19 levels higher than us, and yet we are still faster. I tried setting up a Leech Seed for safety, only to miss 6 times in a row. At that point I gave up and just started setting up growths, since I saw that he only seemed to have grass moves. But he ended up getting a crit taking me down. Samurott did massive damage with Blizzard, but he doomed himself when he charged for a Solar Beam. Because of that we were easily able to finish him off with another Blizzard. Phew, that was both difficult and yet insanely fun. I've always loved playing through Gen 1, but being able to do it with Gen 5 Pokemon was really refreshing. Speaking of, this game has a sequel called Pokemon Kalos Crystal. I'm sure you can figure out what that means, and yep, that will be our next challenge. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it. Remember to leave any suggestions for future challenges in the description down below, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. Until next time, thank you very much for watching and have an awesome day.